All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's time to continue on our program in the seminar Spatial Big Data, Research for Fair and Sustainable Societies, and we're celebrating the 15 years of accessibility and mobility research at the Digital Geography Lab, University of Helsinki. My name is Vuokko Heikinheimo. I work at the Finnish Environment Institute, and I did my PhD in the Digital Geography Lab in a project called Social Media Data for Conservation Science. And now in this session, we will hear more on people-nature interactions and technology. And Tuuli will now introduce us further to the topic. So please, Professor Tuuli Toivonen, I give the floor to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Super official. Thank you. But hello everyone online as well, because some might be joining only now. So yes, indeed, my name is Tuuli Toivonen, and the idea was to be saying a few words about this theme under our research group and the work that we have been doing. And then I would let researchers to explain, researchers who are working on specific topics, to be explaining a bit further what has been ongoing. So within the first 15 years of Digital Geography Lab, we have been studying people in nature quite a bit. And maybe worth saying is that there has been two types of research in a way, and one part we are not really covering in this seminar today, which is something that is continuing very actively, but not by our team anymore, because people have been going to different directions. So basically, spatial conservation prioritization and related and more conservation-related topics have been such that have been very strong at some point in DGL. There have been excellent researchers in our group, but they have been getting professorships and then starting their own groups. So the work does continue, but a bit elsewhere, but we still collaborate. So today, what we will be concentrating on in this aspect of people in nature will be really like people in natural areas, whatever that is. So focusing on outdoor recreation and nature-based tourism. Earlier, in one of the earlier presentations by Silvia Korpilo and Robert Klein, there were also people-nature interactions very much presented in urban settings while on the move. This is more really sort of intentional outdoor recreation and nature-based tourism that we are speaking about in this set of presentations. And how, again, as the focus is on how we can be using various different mobile big data sources, mobility as a lens, and mobile big data sources together, of course, with traditional data sources, as we always do, in order to be understanding people in nature from recreation and nature-based tourism perspective. So that's where we are. And maybe worth saying, like just as an introduction, is that this is super somehow important topic in the world at the moment. If we think that particularly after COVID, we are now seeing in terms of global tourism that we are back on the highest ever level of global tourism, which was on 2019, and now we are sort of on the same level or beyond. And we know from other literature that nature-based tourism is growing even more rapidly than sort of tourism overall. And tourism globally corresponds roughly 10% of the global GDP as of 2019. So if we think that that's the same these days now, so it's a significant factor in sort of economic terms, in local livelihoods for people, but then of course sometimes also for carbon emissions, which is something that we'll come back to still. And we know, but research is quite old on this matter actually, that protected areas receive really a lot of visitations. So globally, roughly 8 billion visits per year, but the latest number is from 2007. We hope to be updating that at some point in the future. And then in Europe, 2 billion visits for national parks only. So that's a huge number. But of course, natural areas are such that, particularly on global scale, but even in Finland, where the same questions are important, they are quite difficult to study. So in Finland, we have really high use of nature overall. We know that well from very well-established surveys that have been carried out by Luke. on 10-year basis, and then of course we have really good information also on visitations of national parks by Metsähallitus. But what we don't really know is that how other forests in other times than during these survey times, how they are being used, how things develop, and now as we see unfortunately also decline in the surveying system of Metsähallitus, which is world class as it has been, so then it's worth to be seeing that what different alternatives there could be to be understanding better who actually visits nature and who not, perhaps. Within our Digital Geography Lab team, many people are working on these topics, and here I'm highlighting the people who have been contributing to these presentations that I'm now sort of making an introduction to. And in these, we have been trying, as all of our work around this topic has been, trying to understand people's visits to nature from mobile big data sources or various different data sources, comparing them to traditional data sources. And we have been using social media data extensively, are now trying to be seeing alternative channels of data, are interested in sports applications, the data that they can provide, because that seems to be quite representative even in terms of patterns spatially, and then nature enthusiast apps and the data that they produce. And then of course on top of all of this also mobile phone data, which though is quite problematic to understand sort of visitations of nature or in nature because of the way how mobile signals transmit. So some of these other sources might be providing something more accurate. But this is something that we try to be doing, and the intention here is to be developing methods and finding even operationalized ways in order to be producing information on threats created by people in nature, on opportunities for recreation, opportunities for livelihoods from nature-based tourism, and then of course opportunities for conservation as well, if funding of conservation is dependent on visitations. And then to be somehow understanding and responding to information needs that, for example, the protected area managers or national decision-making bodies would need to have, or would have, and to understand these information needs as well. And what we've done, so what we'll present to you is work which has been carried out in 3 projects particularly. So Somekon, where Vuokko did her thesis, so social media data for conservation science. Then an ongoing project called Mobicon, so mobile big data for understanding people in nature. And then VIMAS project, which is visitor monitoring, doctoral network operating in all Nordic countries at the moment, and we are part of it. And as part of these projects, which have been running, as you can see, from 2016 onwards, as a continuous line of research in the lab, so we've done global analysis extensively, but then on top of that, tried to be focusing on 3 areas where we have traditional data available on people's visitations. So Finland and Nordic countries, the Canary Islands in Spain as a mass tourism destination, and then Sub-Saharan Africa and South Africa in particular. And then in there, the intention has been to try to understand how people behave in nature, where they go, when they do that, who are they, what do they do, and what brings them to nature with these different data sources. And this is what I'll sort of hand to Aina, who will be telling a bit about our more qualitative work with stakeholders who have been identifying needs for additional information, so she'll continue from here. But before I let you go, Aina, I would still like to be thanking the funders who have been supporting our work continuously, and then particularly the collaborators who have been providing data, Metsähallitus, Sun Parks, many others who have really supported this work. Thanks so much.